So with that said, Mr. Rosendahl, you have our attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. First, I want to give you some really good news from a perspective that every human being on the face of this earth would want to have. I was diagnosed with cancer on the 20th of July. Little did I know that it was in my system for a while. We don't know if it was a year or 2 or 3. As many of you know, they did not give me much hope, but I've never given up on hope. I always believe that if you can go forward in a positive spirit, you might be, with the Lord's help, make a difference with your soul and with yourself. Well, I got a call. I got a call from my oncologist last night at about 8:30 in the evening. The Times had already put a scoop in, which I told them not to, but they did until this release was put out. You know, the good news was that Melanie Schramm, an incredible lady who happens to be the oncologist at St. John's that I've been working with, told me that the PET scan and the MRI that I took yesterday had positive results. She said, "Bill, I've not seen something like this before, but you're on your way to recovery." Great, everybody. Great. So when she told me that last night, you know, it was hard to go to sleep because that was the best news I've heard, especially when many of you know they had diagnosed it stage 4. And I said, well, we're going to call it stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whatever your numbers are, forget them. We're going to try to make it work. Because if you have hope, you can do anything in life. So first of all, the good news is she gave me hope. The second thing I want to say in a general sense first, before I go into particulars, is, you know, Patrick Soon-Chang happens to be the guy who donated millions to St. John's. And Patrick is a constituent of mine. And when Tim Lewicki called me and said that punk in Denver that wouldn't come and even visit with us, who does he think he is, had dropped out. Well, I got to tell you, Patrick jumped to the plate. Not only did he say that he would back it up and give Lewicki the support, the financial support and the other support, but I've asked Patrick to try to get 2 new fresh teams. You don't need to steal a team from another city and create a problem. We're LA. We're Southern California. So he's working on the concept of telling these guys that the pot will get bigger when LA participates, and there'll be more than enough money for everybody to share, more than they presently have. So it's his job to work on those other billionaires so they open up a little bit and realize that can be done. So in a general sense, I am going to stay real close with this project until we get those contracts in our hands, because to get 2 teams and have the multiplier effect, the jobs downtown, and everything about downtown will turn into a New York 42nd Street. And that's what we want as a city. So I'm going to stay on that all the way to June 30th, and then I'm going to retire. The next thing I want to say is about, let me just talk about my colleagues first before I go into myself, okay? And that's the most important thing. One of the reasons I was thinking, frankly, of doing a 3rd term was all these young people are coming on the council. They have no idea what their job is. I want to tell you the truth. First, you make laws. 2, you're the link between the constituent and the services. That is a big deal. Herbie's real good at that. He knows how to say this and that. And when they come at him like a crazy mad dog, you can get it done. The link. I have a guy, where's Mark Grant? He's my schmoozer. He schmoozes with these people, and he's able to deliver people and projects on time and under budget. So you need to remember, Englander knows all this. He did that in his district for many, many years. You don't know this, Papa Joe, but you're the link with the bureaucrats. You got to schmooze them, and you got to get them to deliver, okay? And all the new ones coming on need to hear that message, okay? The third thing is land use development. You hear all these people talk about the corruption of the city council, and they're controlled by the lobbyists, and it's all this land use stuff, because they're the ones. Well, when I ran for office, all the land use people saw their worst nightmare. All the independent expenditures were against me. But the people were for me. Why? Because when I won, these developers came into my room. What can I do? What can I do? I said, here's what you can do. You can go back to the immediate neighbors, then go to the homeowner groups, then go to the neighborhood councils, and then come to me. So I must tell you, for the 7.5 years in government, they come to me last. And that's how you get out of this nasty comments about corruption and lobbyists and land use. And the fourth thing is, you are the presence of government. Nobody knows an assembly member or a state senator or a member of the House of Representatives. They don't know them, because they're up there. They come back once in a while. But when every time I walk into Whole Foods, or I walk into Ralph's, or I walk into Vaughn's, my constituents come up to me. And I do constituent hours all the time. We are the presence of government. Sure, if you're a United States Senator, everybody knows who you are. But frankly, those were the 4 reasons, Mr. President, that I thought a third term would be valuable, so I could help nurture the young ones who don't know what they're getting into in those 4 years. But then along came this cancer, out of the blue. My God, the last thing I expected was that to hit me and knock me down. Well, when she told me last night, hey man, you're on the mend better than ever before, I said to her, not only God bless you and I love you, but I say whoopee-doo and great, 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 great. Okay, now let me quickly tell my constituents a few things, if I could beg for your indulgence on that. In the Palisades, I'm in the middle of Ventura Canyon, turning that into a passive park. We sold 7 parcels of land. We have another 7 before the Coastal Commission, and another 7 that I expect the council will continue to approve. With that money, we will be opening a passive park up there in the Palisades that everybody in the world can go enjoy. And I'm looking forward to that. And LAPD knows, number 2, that the Marquesa school is not going to get that high-energy power station right in their face. I will fight that to the end, that will not go there. I will stay focused on that. Now, let me not be dramatic, but let me be real and talk about a few things as a veteran. Eddie, would you hold this first? I put this hat on with mixed emotions, very mixed emotions. Post 283 took a couple of $1 million, and we raised other money, and we opened up a Fisher House for veterans. That's where families of veterans can go visit them. I got no support from other electeds. I can't believe it. None of them have been in the military but me. I mean the supervisor, I mean the member of the House of Representatives, and I gotta tell you, including the governor, Arnold, and all these characters. And when the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff would go to the location there in Brentwood, he would come and salute me. And most of the time it was ironic, because I'm openly gay. And they had not done anything for gay people in the military all those years, except Bill Clinton, who did DOMA. That guy's an idiot. What that guy did was make it a crime if I tell the truth. And I live by the truth. I've never lied, and I never will lie. So I never have to worry what I say. But when he did that, after doing nothing for AIDS for 2 years, and my first partner, Christopher Lee Plowman, died, I was standing in front of the White House, and I'm being interviewed by her press Myers, who was his press secretary. I said, you see this handsome man here? That president ain't focusing on it. He focuses on don't ask, don't tell. Nobody asked him to do that. And when we asked him to do anything about gay rights, he let that thing be a charade. So I am no fan of Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton came to me back when I worked for George McGovern and raised George millions and asked me how to raise money. We had a couple of long meetings, dinners, Billy Clinton went on to be president of the United States. Well, I don't want to get into that nastiness, but I can tell you that when I put this hat on, I think of every soldier, man and woman, that put themselves in harm's way. I think of every soldier that has died, and frankly, I think of those coming back from war that are not connected with the services they should be. It took me years to finally get Henry Waxman and Dianne Feinstein to agree to take one building and renovate it out of 3 that are ready, but no money for the services. So it's a joke. And until we connect the VA with the veterans, we're going to have problems in our streets. And I'm going to stay dedicated to that through the next 8 months. I'm going to continue to fight for more housing for veterans. I opened up the first transitional house for veterans. It's in Delray. First year they protested. Next year they love them. Where are these people going to go? What are we going to do to help these people? And then, I mean, it just makes my heart heavy. So when I put the hat on, I think of that property over there in Brentwood is underutilized. We could have a lot more veterans living there. Okay, thank you for that. Now, everybody in the Palisades and Brentwood worries about 2 things: fires and earthquakes. Let's face it, Sullivan Canyon was on fire the other day. Brian Cummings and I are on the phone. The first thing he did was put the full fire company up in Station 69. He was terrific. Second thing he did was bring all kinds of firefighters from everywhere. And I had my contact, Nancy Daly. Remember Nancy Daly? Her daughter, Linda, lives in that canyon. And Linda was on the phone with me telling me where the firefighters were, what the progress was. I was calling Brian Cummings, and we were right on top of it. So if we have any red flag days, I'm very confident that we'll get a full fire station up in Station 69. And I applaud the fire chief for his leadership on that. Quickly, I want to say the 405. Look, I'm impacted like you would never believe. Okay, first of all, it's kind of poetic justice, because in the 80s, both Henry and Zev had a perfect opportunity, to bring it in, and they didn't. And I don't know why, but I can tell you that the people in Brentwood have suffered a lot since. So what have we done? We were able to get the folks to realize, don't tear down Church Street. Don't tear down that church. Don't tear down half those people that were living in their homes. I won that battle. So we're in the process of making Church Street what it needs to be, and everybody's cooperated on the 405. The Carmageddon, which was Zev's line, was historic and brilliant and had a major impact. The mayor did a major situation on that. And if I could just quickly go to West L.A., there's the West L.A. Charter School, which I did a complete flip on that by getting the local elementary Brockton, their 23 kids are now part of it. So what appeared to be a high-end charter school now allows the local kids in walking distance from that school to be part of the enrollment. That's a game changer. When I talked to the superintendent of school, he said, Bill, you made history here today, what you did by getting the local elementary connected. Right now we're putting up signs, we're working out places that don't impact the community so that everybody has a win-win on that. The next, real quickly, is the Santa Monica Airport. I have said that airport has to shut down. First of all, the toxicity of my neighbors there, right there in West LA and Mar Vista, there's no buffer. There's no buffer. It's the only airport in America that doesn't have a significant buffer. So we're fighting on that. There's a lot more in Mar Vista. I go to the farmer's market. I love the farmer's market. I do constituent services there. But let me quickly go to Venice, which is a city to itself. We get how many millions of tourists there? 13 to 15 million a year? It's a big deal. I want to get that zip line project in so we can keep the bathrooms clean all day, all night. And that's a partnership with the private sector, with the zip line people. I'm already in the process of creating 20 transitional housing for the folks on 3rd Street. I'm already, with the help of a major developer, building 124 units that most of them will be for extremely low-income seniors, but 30 to 50 will be for homeless folks. 30 to 50 with services. That's incredible. And we're building it with PATH already. And the campers, 100 people from campers are now in housing. And we continue to engage PATH in another project that will open up another 20 units. So when I'm said and done, as I work through my last 8 months, I hope to have roughly 200 people in permanent housing and supportive services that would not be there in Venice. And when it comes to gangs and crimes, I got to tell you, Captain John Peters, Earl Passenger, and the great Chief Charlie Beck are doing a great job for me. And when Charlie first became the top cop, he came to see me and said, "What can I do, Rosendahl, to help you?" I said, "Give me a new chain of command that can work with me and work with my community." He did. And it's been a beautiful relationship that continues to be great. With Del Rey right next door, not only that transitional housing, but they just opened up their farmers market, okay? And there's lots of things in Del Rey I continue to support. And then you come to the big old Westchester. Well, the streetscape is happening right now along Sepulveda. LAX, I'm staying strong. Modernization, yes. Expansion, no. We want more people in the tower who are certified, and we want to get those runway status lights going forward. And that is happening there. We're also very close with LMU in dealing with the issues of parking and the kids who are freshmen, who live off campus, who are just beginning to know who they are. And when they start partying, our police and their police are working closely so they don't cause big issues in the community like they've done in the past. So LMU is on track, LAX is on track, and I'm just very pleased that the good Lord is bringing me to a better position of strength so that I can take the next 8 months and not only finish the term, but do meaningful things that are in the deepness of my heart. And I just want you all to know, thank you for giving me unlimited time to say what I just said. I know I broke a couple of time records here, but it meant a lot to me. And that first giggle you heard was Mike Bonin. And I don't know how far, Mr. President, I can talk about him. Can I tell him that I can pass the baton to him?
No, I don't think you want to get him off on that, going down that path that way. But we all know that he's a good man. He's been by your side. He knows the ins and outs of city government. He's honest, hardworking. We all know that.
I know. Okay.
So
now,
I'll turn it back over to you, but I don't
must say that's the brilliance of Herbie, wouldn't you say? Now, could I ask my staff to come up to me, be next to me? Because let me say something most importantly about my staff. I've believed all my life to empower people. It's not about me. It's about you, we. Now, he's used that phrase. I've used that since I was a child. It's about we. We're all in this together. We're one world. We're one connected humanity. And if we take that seriously, and I do, my staff, when I ran the cable conglomerate, golly, I had a ton of folks. I had 2,700 employees. I made more money, triple what this money is. This is chicken, compared to what I made. And I had my evenings and weekends off, folks. I mean, it's not like what we do here. But the folks standing right next to me, that's the reason I've been successful the last 8 years. One of my colleagues, when I first was coming into office, said, the most important thing is putting a good staff together. And I'm most grateful, and frankly, I'm going to miss them, but I'll always be in touch. And many of you know I'm coming back, and I'm coming back on national radio and television as a progressive of the Bobby Kennedy era, which was a coalition era, and I'm coming back as somebody who believes that these wars we're doing is an extension of the Cold War to the war on terror, and it's insane how many innocent people we've killed in Iraq and we've killed in Afghanistan. And frankly, that makes me disappointed with our president, who became another hawk and another carrier of a torch, which was the wrong torch. I don't care if it's medical marijuana or it's these foreign wars. So, Mr. President, I will vote for you again, but do me a big favor. Get out of these crazy wars. Stop this war on terror. And for God's sake, provide health care, infrastructure, and education, and bring the middle class back. Well, thank you, colleagues. I love you and bless you all.
Great.
great, 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 great. I just want to acknowledge Nancy Friedman. Nancy, stand up. Nancy is head of the Brentwood Neighborhood Council. You know, two of my councils, the Palisades and Brentwood, are not affiliated with the city because they think they should have the ability to sue and to ignore the Brown Act. Well, I embrace those two just as much as I embrace the other six. I embrace anybody who represents people. But Nancy, by your sheer presence, you're acknowledging to me your commitment to this open process that you've done such a great job. And I just want to acknowledge, I know you're grabbing a plane and you're going off to Italy, but God bless you for being here today. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Now, Mr. Zine, please confiscate the microphone from Bill. And Bill, we're going to agendize an item in the future where the members will be afforded the opportunity to talk about what you mean to all of us. But I just had this weird thought. The doctor said you're on the mend, and that's great news. Suppose you wake up and decide you want to run again. You've just pissed off half of the world, all of the people that you need help for. So I think focusing on being on a national radio show is the way to go. All right, Bill. Anyway, God bless you, and we all love you. And thank you for last week. Thank you for last week coming in. All right, members, we're going to go to